So, as Patrick said, that this is a combination of an anti-India stance, which they have made it very public, it's very obvious, and also a misgovernance from the Canada side, because there is no other term for it. Because if you look at the issue that they're dealing with, they're trying to reduce the pressure on housing, and they're claiming that international students is leading to a housing crisis. They're also claiming that international students is putting pressure on the economy itself because there is more demand for goods. Now, both of these are wonderful things to have in an economy. If you've got demand, then please go ahead and build more housing and build more goods which can be consumed. This is great for the economy. Now, if in a convoluted manner, the government of Canada is thinking that because there are students and demand is going up, we should curtail the number of students. That's a very convoluted thought process from an economic perspective. People should cheer that there is a demand. Now, following up on the convoluted thought process, they have cut down the number of student permits by 1/3, from around 10 lakhs to around 3.5 lakhs over a period of one and a half year. This just shows misgovernance happening. You also use the word hypocrisy in the beginning. It's not hypocrisy against India, because hypocrisy is not against any particular entity. It's a standalone hypocrisy that Canada is steeped in. And that obviously is a problem for Canadians and Canadian citizens. But you also see that Canadian terrorists are targeting India and Indian people and Indian diaspora. And that's a big issue. So if you look at the combination of the steps that they're taking under the garb of saying that there is a housing crisis led by demand from students, and therefore reducing the number of students coming from India and supporting Canadian terrorists who are anti-India, this is a serious cocktail of anti-Indian stance that's coming up, which is extremely unfortunate. And also, if you look at it from a student community perspective, which is specifically the Indian student community perspective, this is a big signal that Canada is a no-no. They don't need to necessarily listen to all the good words that Patrick mentioned. On their own, they will take the signal that Canada is not welcoming students, and less number of students will go to Canada. Now, look at it from a Canadian perspective. If somebody is thinking about the betterment of Canada, it's a double whammy. Not only will they lose the revenues coming from international students, they'll also lose the economic growth because of the contribution, because of the housing demand, because of demand of other products and services. It's a multiple whammy that the Canadian economy will be having. Now, somebody who is anti-Canada can only take such steps. So these are all steps which are anti-Canadian, forget about anti-India. All of these steps are going to harm Canada from an economic perspective. Obviously, it's also going to impact some of the students who dreamt of being in Canada for some specific Canadian programs. But as again Prakrit mentioned, there are multiple other countries who offer much superior educational programs, and the world is an oyster. They can go anywhere. So the real damage is largely to Canada than to anyone else.